Welcome back. This is Jamie Drummond for Good Food Revolution. We are here with an old pal of Good Food Revolution, someone we've not seen that much of for some time, apart from a little social visit recently. We're here with Craig McDonald, winemaker down at Trius in Niagara-on-the-Lake. How are you today, sir?
Great, thank you, Jamie. Really good, thanks. Yeah, enjoying Sunday and drinking some bubbles, which is perfect to do today.
Absolutely perfect. It's a bit grey outside, but there are bubbles in my heart because I'm enjoying these wines today. Today we're looking at something quite special, actually. This is the Pinot 2, as you have decided to call it, the Trius Pinot 2 Showcase. Tell us about this wine. This is my first time having this particular one.
Well, I'm excited for you to tell me, Jamie. I'm not going to lie, because this would be the first time anybody's tried it.
Oh, wow.
We have done a soft release at the winery, but it is the very first predominantly Pinot Meunier and a Pinot Noir and a little bit of Chardonnay. So for those who know Trius, our Trius Brut, we've got Chardonnay leading the pack. And then for Trius Brut Rosé with Pinot Noir leading the pack. But poor old Pinot Meunier doesn't get the credit. And, you know, traveling through Champagne and tasting a bunch of base wines, and, you know, there's a real movement of Pinot Meunier that's there. You know, it's like an undercurrent. Then I got really excited about it. So when we got back, I said, you know what, we're going to have to do something different and explore Pinot Meunier, because it's kind of like the ugly cousin under the stairs in the cupboard that you don't talk about.
Did you have a cousin like that?
Oh, no, no.
No, we did back in Scotland. So for Pinot Meunier, for those people who are unfamiliar with the grape, what does it bring to the wine? Why do you find it so attractive as a grape? And why has it been that lesser sibling of Chardonnay and Pinot Noir, undoubtedly noble grape varieties?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think for me, Pinot Meunier, so I'll talk about Pinot Meunier in a Niagara context.
Yeah.
I've had it in table wines, both in rosé form and still form for a while. So I know that, you know, Brian has played around with that at Vineland in the past.
Brian Schmidt,
even at 30 Bench back in the day did their rosé from Pinot Meunier. We had two little blocks there. There's only one left now. But for me, the Pinot Meunier gives a real richness to the wine, you know, and it can be on the fruity, fairly intense side. I've never really thought, you know, it's more of a bridge, you know, it's almost like a connector between, you know, Pinot Noir and Chardonnay.
Yes, yeah.
But, you know, but, you know, even in Champagne, it's a third of or sometimes I think nearly 40% of the plantings are a Pinot Meunier. So very important. And even with Krug and some of the, you know, marquee producers have always respected it. But for me, we've just never had the lens to really look at it. So that's why we did this. We just wanted to see Meunier for what it is. So I can't tell you how it's going to age, but, you know, I think it does show a real upfront appeal that you don't often see, you know.
How much Meunier is planted in Niagara?
Bugger all, you know. I don't know. It wouldn't be 20 acres. I mean, we've got a huge amount of it. We've probably got more than half. So I'd like to plant some more. So, you know, I don't know the number, Jamie, but it's very small. And generally we dedicate it to Trius Brut. So there's a small percentage of it in there. So this is only a very limited bottling of the Pinot 2. So very small amount. Only did a few hundred cases.
Now, I know things change from bottling to bottling, but approximately what are the percentages in this particular wine of the three grapes compared to, say, Trius Brut?
Well, I knew you'd ask me that. So we're in about 75% Meunier.
Oh.
And then there's Chardonnay and Pinot Noir, and I can't remember what those percentages are, to be honest. But it was all about the Meunier. But, you know, we've taken some base wines. It's all non-vintage. So we've taken the base wines from from way back, 4 or 5 years ago, and added that in from a Chardonnay Pinot perspective. But the Meunier is largely a single vintage. But because we blended in a bunch of other non-vintage, it's a non-vintage wine, if you will. So, so it's a combination of almost a vintage Meunier and a bunch of Chardonnay and Pinot that's non-vintage coming back, which brings in the complexity too, right? So it's that fine line between let's just show Meunier for what it is, but I also want to sprinkle very carefully some elements of complexity through
to make it more
the classics of Chardonnay. Yeah, so it's kind of like a supercharged Meunier, if you will, rather than just pure Meunier, That was always the objective.
Would it be fair to say, tasting this alongside the Trius Brut, that the autolytic character on the Trius Brut is quite pronounced? Perhaps a little less so in this, and I'm getting there is a kind of fruit profile on this that is definitely not as apparent. I'm thinking about like a kind of cherry profile that's coming out on this aromatically.
Yeah, there's I call it, the watermelon rind, where it's really white, not red, and it has this kind of a character to it, like a rock melon or watermelon rind, which is really unique. I've never, you try it side by side, and you're right, the Chardonnay gives a much rich, bready, yeasty character typical of Chardonnay. Then you move to Meunier, and it's completely different. And in fact, this Pinot too, this Meunier-based wine, is longer on lees, so it should have more autolytic character, but it doesn't feel it at all, which is really strange.
So you're 24 months on the Trius Brut. Sorry, how long on the Pinot too?
Yeah, 36. So it's an extra year on the lees. So you would think it would have a more creamy sort of character to it, but it's still pretty fresh and focused, I think, and has this this very, it's almost a cut grass, lemon, there's definitely some, I use that kind of rind from a watermelon descriptor, which I've always kind of liked, find it a bit obscure, but, and that's the thing. I mean, we don't know what it's going to be because no one's really done one before. So the good news is we only disgorged half of it. So we have a little bit more downstairs that's going to be aging for a bit longer. So part of the portfolio, Jamie, within the showcase range, which this one is, it's a little more premium. Often we'll do, say, for example, 400 cases worth. We'll tirage that. So we'll put that in a bottle, let it do its second ferment, and put it in the cellar underground. But we'll only disgorge half after about 3 or 4 years or 5 years, like we did the Brut Mature. And then we'll let the rest age. So it's a real, experiment of innovation because we really don't know. So didn't want to do it all in one shot. So we're leaving the second half a bit longer. So we'll see.
The finish on this is astounding. Like it just goes on and on and on. And it's been a long time since I've tasted a sparkling with that kind of persistency before. And again, it's an entirely different character, both aromatically and flavor-wise on the palate than the Trius Brut. They're incredibly different wines.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, if you would never think that. I think it would raise a few eyebrows if you poured this to people. They wouldn't know what it was because the Meunier's taken it in a completely different direction. So you're right though. It's got texture and weight on the palate. It's got these very eccentric aromatics, but the palate is persistent. It has this not just acidity, but there's a flavor layer that sort of runs the length of the back palate as well. So often, these extended tirage wines, they give a little bit up front, and as they age, they're much richer in the front to mid palate, and they tend to tail off a little bit. Whereas this one seems to be pretty strong on the back as well. So I'm really happy that we've, kept half of it for a bit later to see where it goes. Still on lees.
This is tasting exceptionally well today. I was just checking on the old biodynamic calendar there. It's a fruit day. So Whether
okay,
that's
that's
having
why
I'm not
it's
sure
so
how much
rich.
you believe in all of that stuff. I've my jury is out on everything biodynamic, but I have found that my palate aligns with fruit and flower days, as in when I most enjoy a wine.
Yeah, the interesting thing about it now, I don't know, but I mean, I think the calendar affects not only the wine but the person as well. So for me, I see a lot more variation in myself than I do the wine
Mhm.
because quite an organic sort of a being myself, being mostly water, and you're permeable to the outside, and you feel the pressure, and you feel the humidity, and you feel everything around the things that go on around you. So and how much you drink the night before, obviously that helps.
Of course, yeah.
But no, I agree. I think I don't know a lot about it. I really respect people that delve into that, but certainly, we're moving more into organic viticulture. But that path towards biodynamics and the relationship between everything is really important. So yeah, I like that. I'm open to it. That's for sure.
Good, good, good. So this Pinot 2, the Showcase Pinot 2,
Yeah.
see the beautiful label once again. This is currently available through your retail store at Trius. Will there be a wider release, and how many bottles do you have?
Yeah, we only did a few hundred cases.
Right.
I'll have to look on the back, but I think it was about 200, 210. Right. There you go. It was pretty close. Jamie, it's just the retail store, and we'll pour it in the loft upstairs. So it's a kind of a showcase. So the entry level would be the Brut and the Brut Rosé. Yep. Wider distribution, bigger production. These are little special ones we only sell at the winery. And part of that is, we give you the experience and hand sell it and tell you a little bit about it. So,
excellent.
Small amount.
With spring coming around, hopefully some people will be enjoying the wonderful agro-tourism in Niagara and coming down for the sparkling experience down at Trius. Craig, thank you very much for joining us at Good Food Revolution once again. Just before you head off on your trip down under to Australia, I'm rather enjoying this. I think I'm going to enjoy the rest of this bottle after we say goodbye. But thank you so much once again.
Yeah, thanks for your good comments, Jamie. Appreciate it always. Cheers.
Cheers. Take care, sir.